Hey there, welcome to day 49 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. This is our tool for today. It's a little confidence jar. And we're going to continue. We're talking about confidence this entire month. And today's topic is keeping your promises to yourself. Now, I don't know about you, but I have found over the decades that I've been on the planet, I can fool some of the people some of the time. I can fool all of the people some of the time. I can fool a few people most of the time, but I can never, ever, ever fool myself. I always know, at least at a subconscious level, if I haven't kept my word to myself. If I said I was going to do something and I didn't do it, I know that. And about 20 years ago, I started a practice where I followed up on and I did what I said I was going to do it. And I actually created little checklists in a notebook that I carried around with me all the time, both in corporate America and in my everyday life. I would keep literally checklists, and I would just have a list of things that I said I was going to follow up on and do. And I'd put a little square box that wasn't filled in front of it. And then at the end of each day, I would verify either that I had done it and check them off, or I would either do it if I could do it immediately or put it in my schedule for the next day. Why? Because I learned a long time ago, like I said, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but people find out really, really quickly whether you are authentic and true and dependable and trustworthy by if you do what you say you're going to do, if you follow up and do what you say you're going to do. There's all kinds of statistics about the number of follow-ups it takes in business to be successful and to do business with people. And of course, it's different for every individual, but the average changes over time. And the truth is, the vast majority of people who are doing anything in business and in life will not follow up. I think it's like 80 or 90% of people don't do any follow-up, ever. Never follow up, never check back in with you and see if you because a lot of times when we run into somebody, it's not the right time, but maybe in a week it is the right time. And if we don't stay top of mind, then they don't remember us. But we have to learn to keep our promises to ourselves. It's why I do an annual challenge. It's why I've done annual challenges for decades now, because I'm keeping my word to myself. I'm being true to myself just to do the thing I say I'm going to do. And it started out with, more formally with exercising every day for a year. I remember telling my family, I might exercise every day for a year. I just had a sudden cardiac arrest and was lucky to be alive. And every single person in my family, every person I told, every person I care about that I thought would be supportive, actually laughed in my face and talked behind my back and said, there's no way you can, they told me to my face, but then talked about it as well. There's no way you can do that. You're setting yourself up for failure. So what did I do? That was just the impetus and the fire I needed to do it no matter what. And there were a couple of days where it was 11 o'clock at night and I hopped on the exercise bike because I hadn't exercised yet that day. But there were only a couple. Mostly I built it into my lifestyle and my schedule. And then for the next 8 years, until I had another health challenge, I literally could not walk. And then I just did stretches in the bed for about a 3-week period until I could get up and about again. But I kept my word to myself, and I realized how much that impacted my confidence, how much better I felt about myself by proving not only to them that I could do it, but to myself that I could do it and that I could keep my word to myself. And so that just became one of my core values. And I believe we got to follow up. We got to do what we say we're going to do. Am I perfect? Heck no, nobody's perfect, right? Do I forget sometimes? Yes, because as my lifestyles change, sometimes I forget to do my little check boxes. Or sometimes life gets busy and in the way, and I don't get to it till the next day or so. But I do think it's critical that we find ways to keep our word to ourselves. And that helps us sift and sort and choose what we commit to much more carefully. If we overcommit, been very guilty of that in my past, we cannot possibly do all the things that we might commit to, or not do them in the way that we would want to, or not show up in the way that we would want to. And so it's really important that we be true to ourselves and true to who we really are. And that means keeping our word to ourselves, right? Like I said, you can make up excuses and people will buy them all the time, but you always know if you could have done it and if you are just making up an excuse. It builds trust in our abilities. It gives us confidence. By following through, we are demonstrating to ourselves every time we do it that we're worthy and trustworthy, and that if we don't trust ourselves, nobody else is going to trust us. If we don't know that our word is true and that we will stick to it, doesn't mean we don't get to change our mind as circumstances and things change. It just means that when we commit to something, especially to ourselves, we're going to follow through and we're going to make it happen. Or we're going to figure out a better alternative, right? You can always improve, right? I might say I want to do a certain thing, and then I can always do more, right? Nobody ever gets mad if you do more or give more value or take better care of yourself, etc. Well, some people will undermine you because they're not taking care of themselves. But keep in mind, only you can choose for you. Another thing that this reminds me of is that we need to, again, pay attention to what we're committing to. Under promise and over deliver. If you under promise what you're going to do for somebody or with somebody or when you're going to follow through, and you do more, like I said, if you do more of that, nobody's going to get mad. But if you don't deliver on the thing that you promise, they will get mad. If you say you're going to clean out the garage and you don't do it until you're reminded 18 times and people get upset with you because, I don't even know why I picked clean out the garage, but if you commit to something, just find a way to do it in a timely manner. Or say, hey, in the next 6 months, I'm going to clean out my storage unit. It will probably be the next 6 years for me on that topic. But do what you say you're going to do, and then don't commit to it if you can't do it. Or guess what? Don't commit to it if you don't want to do it. If it's something that isn't a priority for you and you don't want to do it, just say, and be honest with people. Hey, I understand this is super important to you, but right now I have things that are a higher priority, like taking care of my family or taking care of myself, and therefore I cannot commit, 6 hours a week to your project, etc. Trust starts with us trusting ourselves. Authenticity starts with us being authentic. Everything starts with us demonstrating and setting an example for other people. So today's tool is the confidence jar. And a confidence jar is just like a gratitude jar or any other thing. You take a jar, any jar, write confidence on it, or gratitude, or whatever you want to improve in your life or have more of in your life. And every day, I like to do every day when I'm journaling. For the confidence jar, I like to do it often, like several times a week. But every time something happens that you feel confident and strong in, I just make a couple little notes of it, write it down on a piece of paper, and then stick it in the jar. Obviously, this is not my real confidence jar. It's just a teeny one for demonstrative purposes that I can hold up. But it's a great tool for, first and foremost, recognizing and acknowledging the things that give us more confidence, right? And it could be anything. Hey, I asked that guy out today, or I asked that girl out today, or I talked to somebody that I'm interested and curious about, or whenever we stretch our comfort zone and go out of it, it's usually a time for celebrating because it means we're growing. So things like that, we just jot them down, something that'll trigger our memory of the event, and then we put it in our confidence jar. And then when we're feeling a little less than confident, or we're feeling just plain crappy, because we all have times in our life and days in our life like that, or minutes in our days like that, we can just open the jar and read a couple of those, and they'll remind us that we are capable, we are confident, we can do what we say we're going to do, and we can keep promises to ourselves, and we can do whatever we set our mind to. All right, that's all I've got today. Start yourself a confidence jar. Again, you decide the frequency you're going to put things into it. If you feel confident 20 times today, you could put 20 things in your confidence jar. And then tomorrow, maybe you don't put any. Then the day after, maybe you put one thing in, or the day after that, 3 things. Whatever works for you. It's your tool to make your own, to build your confidence. Questions? You know what to do. Hit me up and ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.